Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about how can you mitigate losses. And matter of fact, sometimes even win or make money whenever you have a bear market, such as the one that we're witnessing today. As you guys can see today, the S&P 500 has rejected every singular simple moving averages that we have. Now we are officially in a short-term bearish momentum or short-term bear market. That means that it's going to be a lot harder for us to find stocks that are going to be going up, stocks that we can potentially make money, but that doesn't mean that we cannot mitigate our losses or we cannot protect our capital. If you guys have been watching for a while, you guys already know that we don't focus on making money. We focus on protecting our capital, and the money is only going to be a byproduct of us prioritizing or protecting that certain capital. I'm going to give you a quick lesson before we start. This right here is going to be my calculator that I give to every singular one of my students, and I got to be honest with you guys, if it wasn't for this calculator, I wouldn't be profitable today. Now, this calculator right here is going to give you your proper risk management and your position size with the allocation size that you can be using for you to know when you're going to get stopped out and for you to know how much of your capital you can potentially risk. Now, what this is going to allow you to do, as long as you have a proven formula and as long as you have a proven strategy that is profitable, you can easily mitigate losses. Now, I'm going to go and run you down through this real quick. By the way, I'm going to put this calculator on the description down below as well. So there's going to be 3 inputs that you need to put right here. So, for example, let's say that your account is worth at $10,000. That's going to be the first input that you're going to put. You're going to put your available cash that you have, whether it's $5,000, $3,000, whatever it is available, those $10,000. Let's say, for instance, you only have $8,000 because you already deployed $2,000 for another trade. So let's say you have $8,000 left. Now, on the risk management right here, this is really important. And this is why a lot of people fail. It's because they don't know how much money they're risking per trade, or they don't know how much money they could potentially be losing. Now, what I teach every singular one of my students, and this is pretty much the reason why every singular one of them are profitable, is due to the fact that we always risk 0.5% of our account balance. What does that mean? To make math simple, if you have $10,000, all you need to do is multiply it by 0.5%, and that is exactly how much you're willing to lose. Simple as that. Now, if you have 2 brain cells and you know how to think, you can lose more than 100 to 150, 200 trades. You will never be able to blow up your account. 0.5% is nothing. As long as you stay disciplined and you follow the protocol to a T, you will never be able to blow up your account. Let's go into the last 2 inputs that we need to actually fill out. There's going to be a stock entry price and your stop loss. Now, let's say, for example, your stock entry price is going to be at $10. You're buying a stock that's worth $10, and the stop loss is rough around 9.67. Fucking 9.64. Now right here to the right, it's gonna show you exactly how many shares you're gonna be able to buy and your position value, and also it's gonna tell you, which is actually the most important part, how much you're gonna be able to risk on this trade. Which, if it's 0.5%, which is pretty much what we do 24/7, you're only gonna be able to lose $45 if the trade goes on the opposite side. However, if you're able to make money, you're going to be able to possibly make over $135 and above. Now, $135 is just going to be us scratching the surface. Of course, we don't sell it right at $135. We sell it when we're at least anywhere from 5 to at least 8 times our risk. So if you know how to do basic math, do 45 times 5x or 45 times 8x, and that's going to be when we're going to be trimming. Now, how is this really important? And I'm going to show you exactly how I've been able to manage my portfolio and how exactly I've been able to make money, not lose a lot of money in this type of bear market, which I'm not going to lie, is actually not the best type of market to be trading on. This is the same thing that I teach all of my students. I want you to pay attention to this. So far, on the day, I'm negative $357, which is nothing compared to the amount of times whenever I win. Sometimes I make $1,000, $2,000. Sometimes, who knows, if the day goes really well, I even make $3,000 per day. Do the math, $300 to $3,000, it's fucking nothing. That's fucking pennies. And that is mainly due to the fact that you're supposed to know how to protect your capital, how to manage your risk, and how to know how much money you're allocating per trade. If you don't know how much money you're allocating per trade, or you don't know how much money you're going to lose, that's the fastest way that you're going to blow up your account. Trust me, I will know, because I was in your shoes and I blew up over $150,000 worth of live capital. Because back when I started trading, we didn't have nothing like prop firms, challenges, none of that. There was only live accounts, So it was a privilege if you had money for you to trade. This is the exact same setup that I'm gonna be playing with all of my students in the upcoming weeks for us to actually make money. And mind you, this is a proven strategy. I've been doing it for the past 2 years, and I became profitable 2024 December, and I've been trading ever since 2020, since COVID. Let's go and find a stock, and I'm gonna show you exactly the same setup, and you're gonna see how simple it is. And it doesn't even take me not even 10, 20, sometimes 30 minutes after the market open, and then after that I just pretty much just focus on my other businesses. Now let me show you a clear example that we had the other day, and that is actually making us money today, which once again, we're supposed to be losing money because the stock market is down, but we're not. So this right here is going to be the setup itself and my strategy. And I'm not going to gatekeep nothing whatsoever. So the first thing before we start into the strategy is that I swing trade every singular stock on the daily time frame. You're going to go to indicators and you're going to add the following indicators. The simple moving averages, the 10, 21, 15, 200. Now, I'm not going to be using this SMAs for me to know when to enter or when to find a signal to enter. I'm going to be using this just as a way for me to gauge the market. Why is that, or how is that? If all of the SMAs are going to be stacked up all on top of each other, I'm talking about the 10 on top of the 21 on top of the 50, and the 50 on top of the 200, that right there means bullish momentum, and that is exactly what you're going to be looking at. If the SMAs are all over the place, you got the 200 on top of the 50, just scratch it out of your watch list. We really don't focus on those type of stocks. Now, let's get into the strategy, and I mainly use only 4 requirements and pay attention to all of them. The first things first is going to be that we're going to watch for a stock that has made a huge move up to the upside. The second thing is going to be that all of the SMAs are going to be stacked up in numerical order, 10, 21, 50, and 200. Third thing is that we're going to wait for the stock to consolidate, and at the same time as this is happening, you guys are going to notice that the volume is going to start dying out all throughout this consolidation period. Why? Because hype is dying out, investors are selling, and all of that. Now, this is where our last requirement is going to come into place. We're going to wait for price action to consolidate back into the 10 simple moving average. But just because we come all the way to the 10 simple moving average doesn't mean that we're going to enter. We're going to wait for volume to drastically increase and start pumping up. That's exactly when we go in. Now, in this case, with me and my team, we were able to go in. It was on this day. It was on February 27. As you guys can see, we're bouncing right at the 10. Look at that amount of volume. It's way greater than the other ones. And we're bouncing at the 10. All of those 4 requirements are going to filter out the good and the bad stocks that you want to trade. Now, the last thing that you want to make sure you do is that you set your stop loss at 0.5% of what we talked about. You're going to use the calculator, and after that, you're just going to set up your stop loss on any type of broker that you decide to go with. Now, for the people that learn with visuals, this right here could have been our stop loss, which I'm going to put it as in red. And right after that, everything else in between is going to be our gains. Now, if you do not know anything about trading whatsoever, this trade so far is a 5-to-1 risk to reward. And mind you, I went in with my team on the 27th. Today is March 5th. We are printing with this stock so far. And mind you, the S&P 500 is plummeting down right now. Everyone's selling, but we are buying on our side. So please, guys, rewatch the strategy once, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, as long as you guys have it in your head. And trust me, I know this is extremely simple. I know that you guys might be thinking, oh, if it's that simple, why isn't everyone doing it? The thing is that a lot of people want to make money quick, and they rather go with these other indicators that you got, the RSI, the MACD, where oh no, it's just going to confuse the fuck out of you and you're going to lose money. And a lot of people just think that if you start day trading, you want to make $1,000 a day, $2,000 a day. So in essence, they don't want to swing trade. And that's why they will never become profitable. And they're going to be blowing up account after account after account. But that's not going to be you. So other than that, guys, I'm going to leave the calculator in the description down below. If you guys found any type of value, please subscribe and like the video.